What's up, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to The Tug of More.
Man, thank you guys for joining us again. Another episode here, just a conversation between two friends.
That's right, where we are. We know we're called to be somewhere else, that God's got more for us in the future, but there's a tension and a fight and a struggle. That's The Tug of More.
And so we're in it. We're in it every day,
That's
tugging into the more that God has for us. And so we talk about all kinds of stuff here. We talk about leadership stuff. We talk about Jesus-y stuff. We're pastors, and so our context is ministry in the church.
That's true.
And so we spend a lot of time there. And we just finished a whole series.
Which we've never done a whole series before.
So on the tug.
That's right. The values series. We talked about all the values of our church, because values are how you do what you do. We know what we're called to do. We have a mission statement, a vision statement, or whatever, but values are the way we flesh that out, the way we live it out.
And so today we're going to talk about not just our church values, but our staff values. But before we do that, what's going on?
Well,
what's happening
today?
What's going on in our world, in your world?
Today was exciting because I'm wearing long sleeves. Today was the first fall day of Texas.
I went to the gym this morning and it was cold. I needed a hoodie just to get from my truck to the gym.
It's very cold. It's a beautiful day.
But is it still cold, or is it now? It's now almost 4 o'clock.
No, it's only 70. And then tomorrow it's only 70. But then by the weekend it's going to be 80, 87 again.
Back to hot.
Yeah, but that's Texas. I don't know. What's exciting happening in your life?
Well, we had a men's conference here at the church.
Oh, that was super
I don't think
good.
we've talked about that. That was fun.
Yep.
Fight Club, year 2. Second year of the event.
All the dudes learning all kind of stuff, from how to change oil in your car, right?
Yeah, how to hang drywall or change a ceiling fan.
Yes.
How to do CPR.
Right.
They had self-defense class.
Yeah, I think they had one about being a gentleman, one about being a leader, and then all the way to being a godly, spiritual man, head of your home, and leading your wife, and all the things.
They had a panel where we brought some of the ladies in, and the ladies talked to the men about what's actually attractive in a man.
It was super good. And I have one regret.
Oh.
The regret is that sometimes as ladies, we just assume. We just make assumptions.
That y'all know what you're talking about?
Exactly. It's true. It's
true. She rolled her eyes, but I was right. You see?
Exactly true. They were like, here's some ideas, tell us what you think, talk about some stuff. And so we made up some, ideas and questions and whatnot.
You wrote a session.
We wrote a session. That's what I should say. But then it was I don't know. What do they want to know? And so then we started saying, does anyone have questions? And the questions were so good and so duh, but we didn't think of them. And I'm my one regret is we should have just let people ask questions the whole time.
Yeah.
That's all we should have done. So next year, that's what we're going to do.
So that was good. It was super fun.
What else?
Well, we've started brainstorming Christmas around here a little bit. Christmas is right around the corner.
We have so many things happening in the next this Saturday means 10 Saturdays till Christmas.
Come on.
And so we started brainstorming. Look, Julia's face just got panicked.
Here comes Chris Kringle.
And so, yes, would you like to rap for us?
Listen to his sleigh bells on your rooftop shingles.
You can find it on YouTube.
Truston and Whitney. Stomping. He's clomping. He's coming down your chimney for some cookie chomping.
Oh, my gosh. Speaking of cookie chomping, around here we do our Cookie Wonderland, which is so fun. We do Jingle Jam, which is our kids play drama.
Yeah, it's a kids family service. And then we're doing a Christmas Eve service.
Oh yeah, we're doing Christmas Eve service this year, which I'm excited about. We're doing volunteer appreciation is coming. We're doing
we got to talk
parties.
We got to talk about so a busy calendar.
It's just a lot of things happening between now and the end of the year.
So we're going to print some banners and put them in the lobby with all the dates.
I'm excited about that.
And then we're going to put a big red marker through them after it's over. And if you missed it, you missed it. You can't come. It already happened. No DeLoreans that have 121 gigawatts.
Wait, what are you so excited about? Volunteer appreciation?
Volunteer appreciation is right around the corner. If you're will this be released before volunteer appreciation?
Yeah.
If you're a volunteer at More Church, you had better get there. If you're not a volunteer at More Church, you had better become this next year, and you can come next time.
Yeah. Yes.
None of this. Listen, you might get into heaven by the skin of your teeth. Not around here.
You can't serve 1 week.
Don't be signing up. I'm about to go to volunteer appreciation. You come next year. But if you're already a volunteer, please get there.
I'm excited because this is the first, we were in our building, but not all the way in last year. And so for the last several years when we've been in Set Up and Tear Down, we've rented Alley Cats, which is a game place, that you can play games and whatnot.
Video games and bowling. And
it's been a ton of fun. So fun, really valuable for our people. But we didn't have a building, so that's why we did it. But we used to do this more volunteer appreciation gala type event, and we're getting to do it again. And I'm really excited because it's just fun. It's a great way to like publicly honor some people who've really taken it to the next level and like be able to say, hey, you are more to the core. And we're so thankful for who you are and what you do. Because the truth is, we're pastors here, but we couldn't do anything here in the church if we didn't have people volunteering, serving every week.
Yes. And so I think that we have like 400 people.
Yeah.
Maybe more, that are on the invite list. And so our team is working through, inviting everybody, asking them to come and be a part.
Getting them registered.
So if you watch the Tug team, check your email, talk to your team leader. You're invited. We want you to be here.
That's right.
Childcare, we're feeding you a great meal. We've got all kind of prizes, skits and dances, and Pastor Whitney's going to stand on her head. No. I don't know. We got all kind of stuff.
It is going to be fun.
We're supposed to dress nice.
Yeah, we're doing like a red carpet, which we've never done that. We've always done like Sunday dress, but now our Sunday dress looks like this. So we are doing like black tie-ish affair of like dress fancy.
I have a problem.
What's your problem?
I used to wear suits all the time.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't. So do you know how many suits I have?
One.
I have one suit. It's a black suit.
That's all you need.
That's all I need. But here's the problem. I worked at Easton and Brady's wedding.
Oh, I forgot about
this. And the DJ, a.k.a. DJ Whitebread, a.k.a. Pastor Tim. Whitebread? Wonder Bread?
Wonder Bread.
Miracle Whip?
White Wonder Bread?
I don't know. Tim, he plays some Genuine.
Yeah.
And so I go on the dance floor.
By
Rachel,
request. I wonder who requested it.
Yeah, I don't know who requested that. And I blew my pants out. I can't answer this phone call. I aggressively blew my pants out. So I don't even know if they're going to be able to repair them.
I'm going to take them to Lucy.
I'm going to take them to Lucy. I'm not going to do an impersonation of Lucy's
We'll have to cut it
voice,
out.
but you can just imagine Lucy's
amazing
impression. Yeah. And so she's going to tell me these are too bad. You have to go buy some new pants.
You have to buy new pants. Well,
but can I find pants that match my suit jacket?
What kind of suit is it?
It's black. It's just a black suit jacket.
Where'd you buy it?
You told me where to buy it. Well, you sent me to that place with the place.
Oh, Nordstrom Rack. This is a great place to buy suits if you've never bought one before. You just have to match your blacks because some blacks don't match and you have to make sure they match.
All right, I'll take Rachel. Well, anyways, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
I need to get some new pants.
I'm going to get a dress, but I don't know. Or maybe I'll wear one I have, but I don't really have like, you want to do like, I want to go like a whole nother level. And a little bit like sparkles, right? Something? I don't know.
Here's the problem when ladies say prom dresses. Is these girls be looking like some hoes?
Well, I'm not trying to look like a hoe.
Y'all can't be looking like hoes. Oh yeah, this Sunday I'm preaching Sunday, and Whitney starts feeding me jokes from the front row. I was like, what is going on right now?
You had told a thing about temptation, and you had talked about like ladies
Food.
who are. Well, you had talked about. But before that, you had talked about like lust and like temptations and like ladies who are like trying to whatever. And then you started talking about food, but your first like reference of food is ho-hos. And so then the problem with Rachel and I is that if we sit next to each other too long, we just start talking and laughing and we get in trouble. And so
stop paying attention to the man of God.
Correct. It was the second one. We'd already listened to it once. And then Tiffany comes and sits next to Rachel. So
Tiffany Carrillo?
Yeah, Caballero now, but yeah.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, Jose. My bad, dog.
And there's three of us sitting there. And so the second you say ho, Rachel starts laughing, and then Tiffany, and then we all start going, ho-hos or ho-hos? Which hos is he talking about? And we just keep laughing, but then the problem is I'm the loudest one.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah.
So you look at me, and then I just tell you what we're saying, because it's like, I was like, sorry, Dad, here's the joke we have.
So I'm like, Whitney's up here telling me jokes while I'm preaching.
Yeah, but then you threw some jokes back at me, and now I'm about to do 9 weddings, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was not taking that bullet.
So I'm just kidding. It was great. So what were we talking about?
No, we're just talking about what's going on, what's happening here at the church.
What it was fun was
anything unique, new.
Everything is unique at More Church. That's the thing that's the best about it.
We've got an internship going.
Yeah, we've got like 7 interns that are doing an amazing job.
Oh, I got something to talk about.
Uh-oh.
But I don't know if we should talk about it. Should I talk about how I went and preached somewhere and then my message got erased?
Yeah, because you were talking about ho-hos.
I was not talking about hoes.
I'm just joking.
I went and preached somewhere.
And they just...
And it was incredible.
It was amazing. And it had a giant response. Look at Julia's face. We're not naming names. We're nice. Oh, she didn't know. That's why.
And so after how many days it got pulled offline?
Oh my gosh. Like a week or two? I don't know.
It was because of controversial statements.
This is our podcast. We can say whatever we want.
Because I said jerk off.
We were talking about like
Lust.
sin and temptation, and then it was such a powerful message and a powerful like. You did the like thing you've done before where you talked about how like we just have to like strip off everything and just be our true selves.
Yeah.
And like actually allow ourselves to like let go of all the things. And so you what's funny is you took your clothes off, which is not true, but like you took off your outer clothes and just had on like shorts and a t-shirt. So at first when we heard that it got pulled down, I'm like, they pulled it down because he took his clothes. They thought it was like what were you, Magic Mike or something?
Yeah.
Like, but then come to find out it was adults being talked to about temptation that they didn't like the.
So it hurt my feelings a little bit.
Yeah, it should. I mean, you're allowed to say it hurts
feelings.
feelings.
Like, oh, I'm rejected, but whatever.
Well, you just, some people, I don't know.
So you should go listen to it. Oh, wait,
sensitive.
you can't. It's been taken off the internet.
But then just come to more church every week and
come to more church and you'll hear the real truth in language that we speak in our daily lives.
In normal life, but because we're regular people. But yeah, that's why it's funny that like, that's all I thought while we're joking. That's probably part of why I was laughing so hard as we're saying ho-hos on the stage. I'm like, yes, we're just people laughing and joking, telling stories about.
Amy Chin came up to me afterwards in the service.
Oh, yeah.
Because
oh, no,
I can't say this.
Yes, you can, but it's just funny.
She said, because Whitney and Rachel throw the ho-ho comment at me, and Whitney and Amy says, oh, I was about to say, at least you didn't say ding-dongs. I was like, what is going on here?
Those are other chocolate candy. What are they? Cakes.
We might have to edit all this out.
No, it's funny. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
All right.
You're just being insecure because you got rejected, but we're not rejecting you.
I'm now going to only
We're talking about cake. It doesn't even matter.
I'm now only going to preach in perfect format.
From the King James Version.
From the King James Version.
Okay, what else?
Thus saith the Lord.
We got a little salty there for a second.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
No,
I'm like,
good.
I need to take a nap now.
It's fine. It's fine. What are we talking about? Oh, values. How we do what we do. So
how we do what we do. Okay,
yes.
here's what a value is. A value is a guideline of how we accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So it's not just our vision. It's not just our mission. It's how we do what we do.
That's true.
Right? And so we've already talked about them for the church, right? This is as a church what all of our volunteers adhere to, but then also we have staff values.
Because as staff, we say all the time, it's like old school phrase that what walks in us runs in the people that we lead. What that means is like, we better set ourselves, and the Bible tells us, so we have to set ourselves to a higher standard to live above reproach. And so there's more expectation, one, because we get a paycheck for the church, but two, because we said yes in our representation of Jesus. And so our staff is required to hold the values of the church. But then there's a whole nother level that when you come on staff, I mean, you and I, we don't interview anyone without also bringing the values to the table,
100%.
Talking about them deeply, and then trying to even pull out of them to find out.
Do you already live by this?
If you don't already live by it, it's going to be really hard for you to come here and adjust. Maybe if one or two are not there, we can get you there.
We interviewed a guy who he was like making a joke about how at his church, if he drops something in the hallway, they just leave it because that's what the janitor's there for.
That's the janitor's job. We were like,
and so we're literally like, you're not our guy.
Yeah,
that's
you're not
so against our culture here.
Yes, that like I was so like, wait, what? It was so.
We spilled cake in the lobby the other week, and my wife is on her hands and knees scraping it up with her hands,
cleaning it up. Like
we're not the church for you.
That's not who we are. And so if you're going to come and be a part of the team, what we always say is you're joining us. We're not joining you. And so if you're joining the team, then this is how you can very clearly know. You're going to have your task list. You're going to have your like job responsibilities. You're going to need to be a good leader, but also you're going to be reviewed and judged is not the right word, but critiqued on whether you're following these values or not.
All right. Okay. Let's hit it.
First one is one that is, the first two are staff values and church values. And what happened was they were staff values first.
Yeah.
And then they became so intrinsically a part of our culture that now it's a part of our church. So we've already talked about those two. Yeah. We get to do this.
Yeah.
And above all else, guard your heart.
Yeah. So the very first value, the most important one that we say is above all else, guard your heart. So as a staff, the thing that wants to come in between the staff is dissension.
Absolutely.
Well, why did you say that? Or I feel like I'm left out, or I feel like this isn't going my way.
I'm offended at you, or I'm...
And so all these feelings can really easily come into staff teams. And I've been on church staff teams before where people just hate each other. They're not nice to each other. They're not kind.
And nobody's doing nothing about it.
Right. And so our number one job is that we're going to guard our heart, because all the devil wants is for there to be division in the house of God.
Mm-hmm. Well, we say like offenses are inevitable, but offended is like an option. And so if you are not guarding your heart, then it might not be even an offense like I'm mad at you, but it could be just an offense of like something I'm holding on to, some insecurity that I got, some whatever. And we have to be intentional to dig it out. And so that's... Oh, go.
I got to say something about that.
What?
We have been kind of not just flirting with, but saying that I'm going to redo Above All Else on Sundays.
Yeah.
And I've had a bunch of people tell me how they're excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
But guys,
we're not doing it yet.
We're going another direction. I was ready and felt like it was going to be good.
Oh, it's
and so
on our preaching schedule, 2024.
It's been on the schedule for months.
Yeah.
But as I started kind of spooling up and we started prepping for it, we felt like the Lord is taking us another direction to kind of end the year out. And so hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts.
But we'll do Above All Else in 2025. I think there's just something that needs to come after All Access.
And the truth of the matter is, because that is our number one core value, every message that we speak, every series that we have
on it.
Above All Else at the at the base filter of it. Like you're gonna. So even though we're not doing that, this next series is still gonna.
I just felt like we needed to make an announcement because I've had so many people already talk to me about it.
I've seen it on Facebook too.
Yeah, same.
Like, oh, sorry guys, we love you.
Okay, second one.
Second one is We Get to Do This, which we did a whole episode on, and it's probably one of my favorite ones just because, one, I grew up in ministry, I've served in ministry, so like I've been in ministry somewhere in my whole life, and like it is very easy for it to start to feel like a job that we have to do.
A beat down. I gotta get there
because it's we take time off, we have vacation time, there are Sundays we miss, but it's a 24-hour job. It's always on my mind, always in my heart. And so if I don't remember that I get to, that we're chosen, that we are appointed and anointed by God to get to do it, that it's a privilege, then easily it can start to creep into my heart and I can start to be a bitter Betty. Or exhausted or burnt out or whatever.
So just for time,
go
and watch those other episodes if you didn't see them.
Okay, next one. Be fun, make fun, have fun.
I love this one. So our church value is that we're party starters here and in heaven.
Right.
That's our church value, that we're going to start parties. There's a whole episode on that.
Right.
But for our staff, we say that we're going to be fun, have fun, make fun. Because if we're not fun, there's no parties happening.
Right. And we're the ones who set the thermostat. We are not the thermometer.
There you go.
Right?
Nailed it.
And so I always say it wrong, but I did it right. We're the ones adjusting the atmosphere of the room. Like we have to be intentional to be fun, because if not, no one else around us is going to be fun. And if we say what walks in us runs in everyone else, if we are Eeyore, then they're going to be espresso. Like it has to start with us. And so we be fun, which is like a choice of energy is a choice, fun is a choice. But then we make fun. That means not we make fun of each other, but that we create fun in the room. We create opportunity for fun to happen. We make space for it and then have fun. We might be going to somebody else's event, some other department's meeting, some other whatever. But we're going to choose, okay, maybe this is not the thing that I created, but I'm going to have fun here. And that's a choice.
What we do is a very serious job.
100%. Like, emotional.
And eternal.
I was going to say eternal,
our job has eternal consequences.
Absolutely.
And so it's easy sometimes to allow the seriousness of the calling and the weight of the burdens of the people to make it feel very like emergency room. Very like
triage. 100%.
And I'm an intense person.
Right.
And so like my intensity to want to win souls sometimes can outweigh everything. And then it makes it too intense. And so sometimes we just have to have fun.
Right.
Have fun in the process. Like Jesus was, I think Jesus was smiling a lot and telling jokes and cracking up with his disciples. And there's a bunch of times that he's teaching, he'll say something, and I can imagine he's saying it just to get a rise out of his disciples who know this inside joke. Jesus was a fun guy. God is a fun God.
Right.
And so we can't be so on mission every moment that we're not also smiling, because our hope is for our staff team that if you're on staff, that you're here for the long haul.
Right.
We don't want to hire you just for like 5 minutes
Right.
Right. And so the only way that we can have longevity is if we enjoy it.
So good. And as you're saying that, I'm like, this value we had prior to this little pandemic that our world had. But had we not had it, I remember a moment like with you and I where we sat and we were like, we're not having fun anymore. And we like had to go, oh my gosh, like it was a hard season. COVID sucked. Like for churches, it was difficult.
Yeah.
And then the wait after that for the world, what you said, for the people that we're loving and leading, like the world, it's been a hard 4 years or whatever. Yeah. And we got in this like mode of like survival.
Yeah.
And suddenly it was like, wait, are we even having fun anymore?
Yeah.
And if we didn't have that value, it would have been easy to go 3 more years.
You just get in the rut
and not recognize, oh, wait, we're not being who we want to be.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times the values can pull you back into alignment of who you want to be. But it's just, I mean, that's just such an important one that like if we don't be intentional about it, then yeah, we're going to get burned out really easily. And so when hard seasons come, it's a choice to say, all right, let's have some fun.
Let's put some handles on it.
Okay.
What are some things that we have done or do for our staff team that this can be a fun environment?
Sometimes we have staff meeting on Tuesdays, and sometimes we just say, let's go to a fun lunch.
Yeah, we did this week.
We did it this week. What does that mean? It just means let's go try somewhere new. Let's go to drive a little bit further, but a more unique restaurant.
There is a Chick-fil-A in our parking lot.
Correct.
There's a stone throw away to a Chipotle.
Right.
But like, it's more efficient.
Right.
To just go and get sustenance and get back to the job.
Right.
But what's funner to do every once in a while is drive to Fort Worth.
Right.
And let our staff lunch take another 30 minutes where we can sit around and joke.
Do you know one of the best things we ever did?
What?
And I'm like, I think it was your kid's fault. I don't know why it happened. I can't really remember. I'm saying fault, but like in a good way. When we were, again, inside of Teardown, we had our North Campus, but nowhere else. We were looking for a building, and I don't know, but we ended up having a Nerf gun fight. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, Titus. Yeah.
I think it was Titus's fault. Like, he was, like, loving it and inspiring it. Like, and he was like, we should all have a fight. I don't remember what it was. But we, like, turned off the light. Like, it was like we were teenagers. Like, turned off the lights. Everybody got a gun. Everybody got their ammo. And, like, I don't even know. It wasn't even like we had great teams or anything.
For an hour, we just ran around and shot each other
with Nerf guns. And it was, like, so dumb in the best way.
And then we just ate pizza.
Yeah,
and sat around.
Right?
Yeah.
It was just a fun, like, and I'm like, there's all kind of times where we're just like, I think especially as, like, the leaders, we realize, oh, the tenor of the room is tense, or the tenor of the season is serious. Let's just make some fun.
Yeah, we've talked on here about Harbor Weekend a bunch of times.
100 times. Yeah.
And so Harbor Weekend is what we do once or twice a year as like our staff retreat.
Yeah.
And so this year we intentionally leaned in on let's have some fun together.
Absolutely.
In the past, we've had Harbor Weekends where we go and we get a conference room somewhere, like a boardroom, and we do like pretty intensive work, brainstorming, calendar scheduling, emotional health, all this stuff. Whereas this year, it was like, we need to just be together.
Yeah.
Because everybody's been working so hard through the renovation.
Yeah.
That Whit and Melee found, we talked about it on here, so I don't got to get deep into it. We found a lake house that we stayed in that slept 30 something people.
Right. Yeah.
And we piled in there, man, and had couples are sharing bedrooms. And so like, there's a little inconvenience in that, but we're cooking meals together and laughing. And the fun created by just playing Uno at night and sitting around a campfire is so valuable. So valuable
that one, it gives us like wind in our sails for whatever thing is coming, whatever emotional moments we're having for a year.
Yeah.
But also it gives the connectivity that then when you know someone well, you have more fun.
Yeah.
You and I have more fun working together than I would have fun with somebody I don't know very well because I know you. Like we know each other. We're friends. And so that, like, one, the Harbor Weekend thing is so important. And what you said is great. This year we felt like we need to lean into the fun. And what's funny is since Harbor, we've had all these weird little silly attacks of like disunity that just popped out of nowhere. And the reason...
Attempts at disunity.
Attempts.
Right.
And the reason they have not won is because of all of the deep connection that was made at that fun Harbor Weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so funny that I'm like, huh. But because Holy Spirit is who he is, he led us to like, let's have fun. That it's like, see you, you don't get to. And like, that's the thing I think we just sometimes don't talk about with these values, but they have such a spiritual element to them that it really makes it so that you survive your world better. You thrive instead of survive is what I should say.
I remember years ago we did a Harbor Weekend and somebody in the church got bent out of shape and they were like, "No, it must be nice to just go and rent a place and go and stay there with all your friends on the church dime." And I remember hearing that for the first time and like being confused and then really questioning like, is this not good what we're doing? Like, is this a misappropriation of funds? But the longer that I'm in it, I realize that first of all, the way that we do it is substantially cheaper than any other corporate people with taking 30 people on some leadership thing is able to do it. We do it so much cheaper.
We're scrappy, not crappy.
We're scrappy, not crappy. Because to rent that beach house is way less than it would be to get 15 hotel rooms.
Oh, way less.
Shockingly less. And then we cook our own food over there. But it's the best dollars we spend.
I was just say the best return on investment there ever was. It's
like literally other than communion juice and water in the baptism tank. It's the best money we spend.
That's a great, yes.
Because I was sitting here, I was like, what do we spend?
And the Bibles we purchased.
The free Bibles. The free, other than the sacraments and the inspired word of God, I think it's the best money that we spend.
No, it's true. It's true. Because the people who work here and lead here are the people like carrying the spiritual maturity, depth, everything for this whole house and for the people, like literally helping people step from one season to the next. And so if they're not healthy, if they're not fun, if they're not in the right space, the rest of this place is going to fall apart.
Because if we don't laugh together, if me and Enrique don't every once in a while go and laugh together, then all we do is have conflict with each other when stuff doesn't go right.
Right. And the only reason you can have healthy conflict is because you have so much fun and relational change in your pocket that when you have to spend some and say, hey man, we got to have a conversation, it doesn't matter because you trust each other. There's mutual respect.
But that's our value.
What?
And so it's our value.
Yeah,
and so for you and your organization, maybe you want it to be dry and boring. Well, then just don't have this one. Have your meetings in boardrooms.
Okay, but this next one goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's constantly celebrate, consistently critique. And I think that in some of these values, it's good to talk about why they're values for us, like why they exist. And this is one. What?
No, that's Whitney's bump set for me to throw myself onto the bus.
No, not you. Both of us. We're both really good at going from the next and tug of more. Hello.
100%.
Going from this thing to the next thing and looking back and going, what could we have done better? How could we have done it different? You and I just left an entire 3 hours of writing crap on a whiteboard and brainstorming details of how to make it good, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
And so consistently critiquing is not hard.
It's natural for us.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
But we intentionally put the word consistently because you and I are good at constantly critiquing rather than celebrating. And so we had to say, hey, we got to constantly celebrate. I am a natural celebrator.
Right.
In celebratory spaces. But I'm not as good of a celebrator in my workplace, in my job, in this environment. And so if I don't decide that, then I'm going to celebrate big at parties, at birthday parties, at Christmas, at Thanksgiving. But if I only celebrate at those places, that's a lot of space in between.
Right. If you're only celebrating when it's obvious, then you're missing the little wins.
Yeah.
And so we started shifting this value we instilled before we were doing it.
Right. 100%.
We were failing at it. We were constantly critiquing.
Yes.
And rarely celebrating.
Correct.
And so it felt like a while that our staff meetings, we could have changed the name to beat everything up session.
Right.
Where we're just in there beating up Sunday and beating up worship and beating up the message and beating up kids ministry.
Right.
We're
how
just
we can make it better.
How do we make it better? What's next? The tug of more.
Right.
The tug of more is so real in us.
Yeah.
That it just started to feel not fun.
Right.
And so we realized that what we need to do is celebrate. And one of the things that feeds me the most is the stories.
Yeah.
And so now every week in our staff meeting, we take intentional time to celebrate what God's doing.
Yeah.
Talk about stories of people's. What are life changed? Who got saved? Who's new? What happened to the first time guest? What's going on in this area I never see, right? In the marriage ministry, in the men's or the women's, in youth. And so our team, we're celebrating the fruit.
Yeah. No.
What good does it do to just have fruit but never see it?
Right.
Count it, look at it, taste it, the fruit.
Well, and you don't, it's like, you don't get to. You just stare at it, you see it over there, but you don't actually ever grab a hold of it and actually enjoy it. Yeah. And that's what it was like. Oh, I see it. Yeah, it's doing good. Okay, it's going good. But we were not actually enjoying it. You said the other ministries, like the marriage ministry, for the first like semester of it, it was going so great. We had no idea. But then we went to like you went to the first one. I missed that one. But then the last ones we've been to, their like celebration night, and the insane impact that it is to realize all of this time of hard work. Now they're celebrating what's happening, how it's gone, what God did in their lives. It, like you said it that one day, the one night, like it fueled us to go.
Yeah.
You said something like, "This has healed my heart," is what you said.
It healed my heart.
And you're
we're
like,
making a difference.
We're doing all of the hard things, all of the hard conversations, all the hard moments are so worth it when I celebrate and stop. And then the celebration reminds me in moments when I'm critiquing, oh yeah, but it was so good. We had the outdoor baptism not long ago, and that next staff meeting, it was like an hour of celebrating just stories of what we heard and what went good. And I think you and I for a while used to feel like, okay, all right, let's go. Let's get out of this. We got to go to the next thing. But now we're able to sit in it a lot better than we used to.
Well, because I can't tell the staff that their value is to be fun, have fun, make fun, and then only crack the whip.
Right.
And so we did baptisms and didn't have enough chairs or any chairs outside.
We didn't have any chairs outside, right.
So like that was a problem.
Yeah.
And it went longer than we thought.
Yeah.
But like we all knew that.
Right.
So that critique takes 30 seconds.
Correct.
But we need to spend 50 minutes celebrating what God did.
Yeah.
Remember when we were at the Pig and we were doing a marriage series and it was like a cooking vibe?
Yeah. Got the Blackstone.
And
we did like pancakes, cookies.
Yeah, I have some regret about that series.
Really?
Because I was not living this all the way yet.
Okay.
And so public apology to Easton.
Okay.
Public apology to Easton. Easton, I owe you an apology. I might have talked to him about this already.
I don't know.
You remember that series? Right before that, he broke the big LED wall down and then had these 4 little side LED walls.
Yeah.
And on each one had like a spoon and a knife and a fork.
Yeah.
And how cool that looked.
Yeah.
And then we shot these custom videos.
We went to like restaurants and like ate and
And then we had this big banner that like went behind us and we did like a prop thing.
Like we were Martha Stewart.
Yeah. I remember after the first week of that series, we either like made grilled cheeses live or made pancakes or something.
We did,
but something went wrong. The griddle was too hot. There wasn't enough batter. Like, I don't remember what it was went wrong.
Right.
And I remember walking into staff meeting and not saying how amazing everything else went. And like, so Easton, I'm sorry. I remember sitting in that staff meeting kind of like not fuming, but a little frustrated that like we ran out of cake batter. It was something dumb.
It was the pancakes. You remember they put them in those little squeezy thing, but then someone set it on top of the hot burner and it melted.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing was broken, and it was just a common sense of like, hey guys, we have to be intentional. This is on fire.
But like
we could have burned the building down.
But that piece, do you know what it cost? I did not say, good job, good job, good job. This looked amazing. Wow, this blew my mind. This was incredible.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at this one accident.
Yeah.
When I'm like, creatively, I think that's the best series we've ever done. Visually. Do you remember?
It was amazing.
Forks and knives and the stuff.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
And the videos and the banner. And we had like the cool roll in. And remember with the like little like
dust in there.
The dust and thing. Dude, it looked so good.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm sitting there bent out of shape because we melted the prop on the thing. It's an intern's fault.
Right.
So Easton, I apologize.
No, it's good.
But it shifted out of that. Because that was before Get Off the Throne.
100% it was.
It was before Get Off the Throne. So I was still a little like control-y, want it to be right everywhere.
Yeah.
And now I'm celebrate the good.
And something Rachel taught us long ago, because she's a teacher, was that it takes 10 positives for to make up for, like, emotionally and mentally for one negative.
Yeah.
And when we don't realize that sometimes as people who are good critiquers, because you and I critique each other daily, constantly.
Yeah.
But I don't hear it as critique.
I hear it as sharpening.
I hear it as, thank God I preached a couple weeks ago, and in between services, you gave me 3 things. And like, we're like, hey, this. And then you even said to me, like, I don't normally give you 3 things. Are you okay? And I'm like, no, thank God you gave that to me, because it made it a ton better. And we don't hear it that way. But for 98% of people, hearing critique is not always fun and comfortable. Like, we do the 6 hat, and the black hat is writing the critique.
Yeah.
And if we don't spend more time celebrating, then to a lot of people it probably sounds like you suck.
Well, and you taught me this, understanding the weight of my voice.
Right.
That as the leaders of the organization, that if we're critiquing, that sounds, you need to have 100 good things for that.
Yeah,
way
more heavy-handed. Right. No, it's good.
All right.
Okay, what's the next thing? Sorry, I stopped.
I didn't look at my phone.
I stopped looking. What's the next one?
Rachel texted me just now. Titus caught another lizard and a snake.
That boy be finding all the lizards.
Who's the guy?
All the snakes.
The crocodile hunter.
Yes.
Titus, he catches lizards, but the ones that he has found are like ones they sell in stores.
And so he's
like,
saving
we went to the
you
pet
money,
store.
I guess.
We went to the pet store, and this lizard in my backyard he caught is like $60. And so I took him to the pet store the other day, and we bought him crickets.
You bought crickets to feed the lizard?
Yeah, bought crickets.
My eyelashes being crazy.
And Rachel bought him a little aquarium thing, and I'm like, I guess we now have.
But then he put a cricket in his backpack.
No, a grasshopper.
Oh, grasshopper.
He put a grasshopper in his backpack to try to feed the lizard.
And then I heard him say, I ripped off his jumping leg.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of psychopath stuff. Let's not do that.
He's just trying to feed his lizard. He's being efficient.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, this one's great because it's who we are. Be transparent always, both publicly and personally.
If you haven't noticed, we're ultra transparent about who we are, what's going on in
what
us,
our brains are thinking,
and so
what we're feeling.
This last Sunday for me was a ultra transparent Sunday on the stage. I'm talking about temptations and difficulties and what I've walked through and a wretch of a man that I am and how I have this horrible guy in me and I have this Holy Spirit in me and they're mixed into this gray world that I now live in. But I think transparency is power.
100%.
It's powerful. Something we say a bunch is that we paint the gospel up on the canvas of our lives.
Yeah.
And where we should be explaining the goodness of God is up on us. And if we act too pure everywhere, then we're not really painting anything. We're just a blank white wall. And so
drawing stick figures.
So we're transparent.
Yeah.
But it's not just on the stage.
Right.
So to our teaching team, not just adults, but kids and youth, we're going to be talking about it. I love Brady. I'm not going to talk about what she talked about at her testimony, but she's the only girl I've ever heard share about some of her testimony in the way that she did.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I thought, yeah, she's our culture.
Right.
Because she's willing to say these really odd words to say
transparent
words about what she struggled with. And you know what it does? It brings freedom to people.
Absolutely.
Freedom in the house. Because the people in the pews are just sitting there doing the same stuff that we're tempted by.
Right. Well,
so why act like I'm some kind of other being?
Yeah, exactly. And you said transparency is power, but that's not what we think. People think that perfectness is power, and that's why they do it. That's why they act perfect, act like they have no issue. But transparency is the thing that you said it brings freedom and it sets other people free. And yeah, Brady is a great example of the youth group we have now. These teenagers are striving to actually be more like Jesus than any teenagers we've even had in the past, because of the willingness in this space to just be like, just be transparent, talk about it. You and I, when we were teenagers, I don't know about you, I never was going to tell my youth leader nothing about what I was struggling with or tempted by, because I didn't need them to know, because they might judge me, they might take me out of serving, they might not let me do what
not let me preach.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. And like, but now it's like, no, just talk about it. We're all people. Let's do it. So, but you said publicly and then personally.
Yeah. So publicly is like, for our staff, the people that we're leading, we're going to be transparent with them. So this is everything from like deep spiritual stuff to like, if you have a meeting with somebody and they're 10 minutes late, don't beat them up. You've probably been late. Tell them when you were late last and be transparent. Okay. So that's kind of publicly, but then personally, we require that we're going to be transparent. Meaning like if something's going on in your life, let somebody know. This does not mean that you have to stand up in a staff meeting and say like, hey, me and my wife are in a big fight right now. But like, let somebody know, like talk about what's going on. Because if we just pretend like it's all good, that's going to come out eventually.
Right.
It's going to ooze out somewhere and then everybody's confused.
It's so, yes.
You're either going to get caught.
Correct.
It's going to be obvious, or you're just going to start talking about what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And so for us, we're a real transparent gang, and
but it just makes everything easier, like harder,
challenging, awkward, longer.
Right.
It's slower sometimes.
Let's talk about it without all the way talking about it. Like you and I this week have had some very transparent conversations that had we not had them, there could be a lot of ripple effect 6 months down the road of thoughts in your head or thoughts in my head that, because I didn't talk them out, I didn't know what you were thinking, you didn't know what I was thinking, and instead I make assumptions.
Yeah.
And assumptions just cause everybody to have struggles.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, like some of our staff team this week, I've had one-on-one conversations with, and they're carrying some things and struggling with some things. But because we have a safe place for them, it's not even like temptation sin. No. It's just transparency of what they're feeling, walking through. But because they're comfortable in the space and the culture we have to be transparent about it, then I was able to be like, but who told you that? Why are you thinking that? And they're like, oh, you're right. No one said that. I'm just making it up. And then I was able to be like, yeah, do you know this? I've been having some similar weird situations. And then my husband and I have a little fight at home, and he says something dumb that just was in a moment that now made me feel all of these feelings. And like, a lot of people don't talk to each other like that.
Yeah.
But the ability to be able to do that is like, there's so much health in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we're unwilling to have those conversations, it leads to distrust.
That's a great word, distrust.
And
disunity.
Disunity and confusion and frustrations and then bitterness.
Yeah.
And so like you know when someone's not telling you the whole thing. And so you're like, well, what aren't you telling me? And why aren't you telling me that? Is it because you don't trust me?
Right.
And so we say all the words.
Yeah, I was thinking like, Rachel and I used to say that all the time. Like, we don't say words we don't say. Because we used to be around a lot of people who would say words that they didn't say. They would be saying words, but they were also not saying words they were saying.
Like here's an example. You would invite someone, say, hey, let's get dinner sometime. And the person would say, oh, I'd love that. I would love to get dinner with you. That makes you think that you're about to go to dinner with this person. What they're thinking is, I'm not going to say no. So I would just say, I would love to, but then never book a dinner with you.
Yeah.
That's manipulative.
That's a great.
That's saying words without saying words.
Yeah. And it is. It's it ends up being manipulative, and then it ends up being hurtful. But when it's transparent, it negates some of those other. I think I'm like, when we wrote it and like made this our value, I don't even know that we understood fully how much that would go. Yes, we did it with a heart of transparency for our people so that they could walk in freedom and so they could know, me too. We've all been there. But now it's become such a piece that I'm like, oh, it's negated gossip.
Yes.
It's negated bitterness.
Competition.
It's negated competition. It's Rachel and I being able to say to each other, hey, today I got a little insecure that you were going to be cooler than me, but then I know that that's not cool. And just being able to say that is like, oh, so now we don't have that. So now it's not there.
Right.
And like, it wasn't like a one conversation. We've had to have 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But now it's so easy that now it's like, oh, and then if it ever pops up again, we just talk about it. And I think we didn't even realize the level of freedom is probably the right word that would come from this value. And so it's a good one.
When I was a kid, in my cupboard, my dad taped this quote from Abraham Lincoln, and it said, "No man is smart enough to be a successful liar." And I think that is true into what we're talking about. That no man is skillful enough to hide what's really going on.
Right.
And just say the words.
Right.
Just say the words, and the people are either going to be able to handle them or they're going to die.
Yeah, that's true, because that's happened to us.
They can't handle the words.
You can't handle the truth.
They can't handle it. And
that's okay.
Something we talk about a lot is, I say to the people in the church, I hope you find real friends here. And real friends are not just people that you can go to the movies with and eat chips and queso. Real friends are the people that you can call in trouble.
Right.
Real community is when things aren't going well and they love you enough to stay there and deal with it. But that's only possible you can't have a real friend without transparency.
Right.
You can't. You can have people you go on vacation with and you smile around, but they're more like a prop in your life.
It's really good.
They're a prop. They're just like you rent a surfboard. They're just a friend that you just have fun with. But the Bible says that a friend is for times of adversity. Yeah. And adversity means come on into my problems. That's transparency.
No, it's so great. And I heard something this week that our circle of people that we can call in times of trouble is pretty small for a lot of us. But then not only that, but then when you're transparent, the circle of people you can call in times of awesome is also small. Because now that I'm transparent with you, you know my heart, I know yours. I'm going to celebrate anything good that happens in your life. I'm going to cheer you on in all the things. And that's a rare thing too. And so transparency builds both a space to be vulnerable about difficulty, but also a space to be vulnerable about good things that are happening to us. Okay, go.
Well, I have a problem.
What?
We have 10 values here, and we've made it through 5, and we're already at 47 minutes.
Oh, shoot.
So I don't
Remember how we said it would be really fast?
Just
go through them?
So I don't think there's any way that we're going to finish it.
No.
I don't think there's any way we're going to finish it. Okay. But there is a value that we want to add that we haven't done yet. I'm not going to read you the rest of the values because we'll do those next episode.
We'll do a next one. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Teaser. You'll get the other 5 values.
And maybe by then we'll also tell you about this new series that we teased but didn't tell you what it was.
We don't have one about rest.
Oh, yes.
And so I want to do that our next staff Devo.
Okay.
That
we need to talk it out.
We need to talk it out because I've got a lot of thoughts there.
Oh, okay.
About how as a staff, it is a value. But it's not a written down value.
Because it's one we've been fighting through. I mean, it's one of our first
Well, if you were to
been
search
here in the very beginning, we've been talking about rest for it's taken us a long time.
We've probably got 5 to 7 episodes just on rest.
Yeah.
But if you listen to them, it's all of us wrestling with how do we do this well.
Yeah, yeah. You said it a couple weeks ago. You said a part of the sentence that it will be. You said operating from rest.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we have to learn that. That's the next level.
Right. Because what I've been doing is I'm exhausted and I rest. And so it's I fill my tank up to a quarter. But what I want to do is be able to fill my tank up to full. And then by the time I'm at half, I'm already putting more rest in.
It's good.
Why operate from a deficit?
Right.
It costs the same. It costs the same amount of gas.
It probably costs more. Use what you explained.
Yeah, because you're going to burn out your fuel pump.
Easton had one about an iPhone, and you had one about a car.
Yeah.
Of actually, when you get to a deficit, you end up draining the battery of your phone, and you end up draining the.
You hurt your fuel pump.
Of your car,
and you get you can get water in your gas tank because it's empty and
which actually costs you more in the long run.
Yeah.
So. That's a good one.
We're chewing on that one, so there will probably be 11. So there's no way that we're going to get through the other 5,
fine.
potentially 6 today.
We talked for 45 minutes. Oops. That's good.
Hey, you know what we do is we love you guys' questions or comments.
Yeah.
And so if there's an episode that you're hoping that we would do, let us know.
Right.
Do you smell coffee?
Yeah. It's because it's you tonight.
Oh, I just got hit in the nose by a wave of coffee. It's is the building on fire with coffee? Okay,
Tyler probably said.
do we need to get out of here? So strong. Isn't it strong smelling right now?
Tyler probably said, if I'm going to be fun, make fun, have fun tonight in youth, I need some coffee.
I need some coffee. Okay. So if you have a question or an episode that you would like for us to do, message us.
That's right.
We would love to hear about what you'd love to hear us talk about. And it can be anything. We're transparent people.
Yeah.
You ask us any question.
You can ask us more about when you got your sermon deleted and we'll tell you.
Whoa. Whitney is baiting me.
I want to talk. There's so many things right now.
She's baiting me.
That I want to talk about, but we can't yet, of things that I want to share, but we'll do it someday.
Ministry's hard.
It's That's hard. It.
If God called you, do it, because it's going to be amazing.
Please do it. But also, if he didn't, don't do it.
There's some days I wish I'd just sold tires.
Yeah.
Enrique keeps walking by looking in like he's got something to tell us.
Okay.
The building's on fire by coffee.
Oh, it's good. Love y'all.
Love you guys.
Talk to y'all next time.
See ya.
Bye.